Stop overthinking and live better. In the spirit of Muniba Mazari, with the educational warmth and clarity of Cesar Lozano, let me ask you something honestly. How many nights have you lost sleep, replaying a conversation that already ended? How many times have you imagined 10 disasters that never happened? And tell me, did any of that thinking actually solve your life? Overthinking is not intelligence. It is fear wearing a mask of responsibility. You tell yourself, I'm just being careful. No, you are being afraid. Afraid of failure. Afraid of rejection. Afraid of making the wrong move. But listen carefully, thinking is useful. Overthinking is paralyzing. Your mind is a powerful tool, but it was designed to create solutions, not prisons. When you overthink, you give your imagination permission to create problems that reality never asked for. You start predicting outcomes that have no evidence. You start assuming intentions that were never spoken. You start doubting decisions that were already good enough. And what happens? Anxiety grows, confidence shrinks, opportunities pass. Education teaches us to analyze, but wisdom teaches us when to stop analyzing. Not every problem needs to be dissected. Some situations need acceptance. Some mistakes need forgiveness. Some uncertainties need courage. If you keep trying to control every possible outcome, you will never move forward. Life is not a math equation where everything can be solved before action. Action is clarity. You say, but what if I fail? I say, what if you grow? You say, but what if people judge me? I say, they already do. You say, but what if I make the wrong choice? I say, then you learn. Overthinking keeps you in the safety of imagination, but growth only happens in movement. Let me teach you something simple, but powerful. Your thoughts are suggestions, not commands. Just because you think something does not mean it is true. Just because you fear something does not mean it will happen. When your mind says, you're not ready, ask yourself, ready for what? When your mind says, this might go wrong, respond, and if it does, I will handle it. Self-trust is the antidote to overthinking. If you do not trust yourself to survive mistakes, you will try to avoid every risk. And avoiding risk means avoiding life. Living better is not about controlling everything. It is about strengthening yourself so that whatever comes, you can face it. You do not need perfect conditions. You need inner stability. Stop rehearsing tragedies that haven't happened. Stop reliving embarrassments that nobody remembers. Stop magnifying small problems into lifelong disasters. The brain repeats what you feed it. If you feed it fear, it produces anxiety. If you feed it courage, it produces strength. And here is the educational truth. The brain learns through repetition. So repeat better thoughts. Repeat empowering beliefs. Repeat action. Instead of thinking, what if this goes wrong? Ask, what is the next small step I can take? Instead of replaying yesterday, focus on improving today. Overthinking steals the present moment. And the present moment is the only place where life exists. You cannot enjoy a conversation if you are analyzing it. You cannot build a dream if you are questioning every brick. You cannot love freely if you are calculating every risk. Stop trying to think your way into peace. Peace is practiced, not calculated. Take the step. Make the call. Start the project. Express the feeling. Apologize if needed. Forgive if possible. Move. Because clarity does not come from sitting still inside your head. It comes from engaging with life. And remember this deeply. You are stronger than your doubts. You are wiser than your fears. And you are capable of handling outcomes you cannot yet imagine. Stop overthinking. Start living. And watch how your life becomes lighter the moment your mind becomes quieter. Overthinking is fear disguised as responsibility. Read that again. You call it being careful. You call it thinking ahead. You call it maturity. But let me tell you something with absolute honesty. Most of the time, it is fear wearing a very intelligent suit. You sit there telling yourself, I just want to make the right decision. Of course you do. We all do. But why are you exhausted before you even act? Why are you tense before anything has happened? Why does your heart race over scenarios that exist only in your imagination? That is not responsibility. That is fear trying to control uncertainty. Fear whispers, think more. Just a little more. One more scenario. One more possibility. And you obey. You replay conversations. You analyze someone's tone. You dissect a message like it's a scientific experiment. You imagine 10 different endings. And what happens? You feel more confused, not clearer. More anxious, not prepared. Because overthinking does not prepare you. It paralyzes you. Real responsibility leads to action. Fear leads to hesitation. Responsibility says, gather the facts and decide. Fear says, what if you miss something? What if something goes wrong? What if they judge you? Responsibility empowers. Fear drains. Be honest with yourself. When you overthink, are you truly searching for wisdom? Or are you trying to eliminate every possible risk? And listen carefully. Life does not allow that. You cannot remove uncertainty from existence. You cannot control every outcome. You cannot guarantee perfection. So what are you really doing? You are trying to protect yourself from discomfort, from embarrassment, from failure, from rejection. And that's human. But when protection becomes obsession, it becomes a prison. You tell yourself, I'll decide tomorrow. But tomorrow E comes next week. You say, I'll speak when I'm fully ready. But fully ready never arrives. You wait for 100% certainty in a world that only offers 60% at best. And while you are waiting, life moves. Let me tell you something powerful. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is acting while fear is present. Responsibility is not eliminating risk. Responsibility is accepting that risk exists and still choosing wisely. When you overthink, you are not being responsible. You are doubting your ability to handle consequences. That's the truth. Deep inside, you don't trust yourself enough to recover if things go wrong. So you try to prevent everything from going wrong. But growth does not come from prevention. It comes from participation. You learn by doing. You grow by experiencing. You become stronger by facing outcomes, not by mentally rehearsing them. So the next time you catch yourself stuck in endless analysis, pause. Ask yourself, am I being responsible or am I being afraid? And answer honestly. If it's fear, don't shame yourself. Just acknowledge it. Say, I see you. But you are not in charge. Because responsibility moves, fear freezes. Responsibility decides. Feared allays. Responsibility trusts effort. Fear demands guarantees. And there are no guarantees in life. Only opportunities to act with faith in yourself and strength in your character. Your thoughts are powerful servants, but dangerous masters. Listen carefully to that. Your mind is a tool, a brilliant tool. It can create ideas, solve problems, build dreams, design futures. But the moment you let it control you, instead of you directing it, everything changes. When your thoughts serve you, they help you prepare, reflect, learn, and improve. When they become your master, they dictate your mood, your confidence, your decisions, even your identity. And that is where suffering begins. Have you noticed how one single negative thought can ruin your entire day? Just one. I'm not good enough. They don't respect me. I'm going to fail. And suddenly your body reacts. Your energy drops. Your posture changes. Your voice becomes uncertain. All because you believed a sentence that appeared in your mind without evidence. Your brain produces thousands of thoughts every single day. Not all of them are intelligent. Not all of them are true. Not all of them deserve your attention. But when you treat every thought as a command, you become a prisoner of mental noise. Let me say this strongly. Just because you think something does not mean it is reality. Your mind is creative. It imagines danger to protect you. It exaggerates risk to keep you safe. But it doesn't always know the difference between a real threat and an uncomfortable situation. So it sounds the alarm for everything. A presentation feels like danger. A new opportunity feels like danger. A difficult conversation feels like danger. And if you obey every alarm, you will never grow. When your thoughts become your master, you react instead of choose. Someone ignores your message and your mind says, they don't care about you. Immediately you feel rejected. You withdraw. You overanalyze. But what if they were just busy? What if the story in your head was fiction? A master controls. A servant assists. Your thoughts should assist your decisions, not dominate them. The educational truth is this. You have the ability to observe your thoughts. That means you are not your thoughts. If you can step back and notice them, then you have authority over them. You can question them. You can challenge them. You can replace them. When your mind says, you will embarrass yourself, respond, that is a possibility, not a certainty. When it says, you always mess things up, respond, that is an exaggeration. Speak back. Take control. Because if you don't, your thoughts will dictate your future. They will shrink your ambitions. They will limit your relationships. They will steal opportunities before you even try. Strong people are not those who have no negative thoughts. They are those who refuse to be controlled by them. Train your mind like you train a muscle. Discipline it. Guide it. Feed it empowering information. Surround it with constructive conversations. Practice gratitude. Practice perspective. Your mind is one of the most powerful instruments you will ever possess. But remember, a powerful instrument without direction can cause damage. Lead your thoughts. Do not let them lead you. Think with intention. Choose with awareness. Act with courage. And never forget that your thoughts were meant to serve your life. Not rule it. Not every problem needs a solution. Some need acceptance. And I want you to breathe that in deeply, because this truth alone can free you from so much mental torture. You have been trained to fix everything, solve everything, correct everything, improve everything. But life does not work like a machine that always needs repair. Sometimes it simply needs understanding. You exhaust yourself trying to find answers to questions that have no answers. Why did this happen to me? Why did they change? Why wasn't I enough? You sit there analyzing every detail, searching for logic in situations driven by emotion, timing, and human imperfection. And the more you analyze, the more frustrated you become. Because some things are not puzzles, they are realities. Acceptance is not weakness. It is strength with maturity. You think accepting means giving up. No. Accepting means recognizing what is beyond your control so you can focus on what is within it. You cannot control how someone feels about you. You cannot control every outcome. You cannot control the past. So why are you fighting battles that were never yours to win? Listen carefully. Resistance creates suffering. Acceptance creates peace. When you resist reality, you argue with what already is. And that argument drains your energy. It keeps you awake at night. It fills your chest with frustration. It steals your joy in the present moment. But the moment you say, "This is what happened. I may not like it, but it happened," something inside you softens. You stop fighting the truth. And that is where healing begins. Some relationships end without explanation. Some opportunities disappear without closure. Some efforts do not produce the results you expected. You can either spend months trying to decode it, or you can accept that not every chapter comes with footnotes. Acceptance does not mean you approve. It means you acknowledge. You say, "But I need clarity." No, you need peace. And peace does not always come from understanding. It comes from surrendering the need to understand everything. Think about it. How many times have you replayed a painful memory, trying to extract a lesson? Once you learn what you needed to learn, why keep replaying it? At some point, growth requires letting go, not figuring out more. There is wisdom in saying, "I did my best." There is power in saying, "I cannot change this." There is freedom in saying, "I release what I cannot control." Acceptance is not passive. It is active courage. It is looking at reality without denial. It is choosing not to let what you cannot change destroy what you still can build. Life is not always fair. People are not always consistent. Outcomes are not always predictable. And that is not a problem to solve. It is a condition to accept. When you stop trying to fix everything, you create space. Space for new opportunities. Space for gratitude. Space for growth. Space for emotional stability. Some storms are meant to pass, not be controlled. Some lessons are meant to shape you, not be solved. Some chapters are meant to end, not be rewritten. And the moment you accept that, you stop fighting life and start flowing with it. Action destroys anxiety faster than analysis ever will. Read that with intensity. You can sit there thinking for hours, days, even years. But the moment you move, something shifts inside you immediately. Anxiety feeds on delay. It grows in stillness. It multiplies in hesitation. But it weakens the second you take one decisive step. You say, "I need to think a little more." No. You've thought enough. How many scenarios have you already imagined? 10, 20, 50. And did any of that reduce your fear? Or did it make it louder? Because anxiety loves imagination. It thrives when you sit still and let your mind run wild. It paints pictures of failure. It exaggerates consequences. It predicts humiliation. And while you are analyzing, your body reacts as if those disasters are already happening. But here is the truth. Your nervous system calms down when you act. When you send the message instead of rewriting it 20 times, relief comes. When you start the project instead of planning it endlessly, clarity comes. When you have the difficult conversation instead of rehearsing it for weeks, strength appears. Why? Because action brings evidence. Evidence silences imaginary fear. You fear the presentation. You imagine forgetting your words. You imagine people judging you. But once you start speaking, your brain realizes, "I'm surviving." And survival reduces anxiety. Progress builds confidence. Analysis keeps you in theory. Action puts you in reality. And reality is almost always less dramatic than your imagination. Listen carefully. Confidence is not built by thinking about doing something. It is built by doing it. You do not become brave by visualizing bravery forever. You become brave by stepping forward while your hands are shaking. You do not eliminate fear before action. You reduce fear through action. This is educational and psychological truth. Avoidance strengthens anxiety. Exposure weakens it. Every time you avoid a situation because you feel anxious, your brain learns that situation is dangerous. So next time, the anxiety doubles. But when you face it, even imperfectly, your brain learns, I can handle this. And slowly, the fear loses its authority. Stop waiting to feel ready. Ready is a myth created by comfort. Growth begins when you move without complete certainty. You don't need the entire staircase visible. You just need the next step. You want to change your life? Move. You want to reduce overthinking? Move. You want peace? Move with purpose. Small action is still action. Send the email. Apply for the opportunity. Wake up earlier. Go to the gym. Make the call. Speak your truth respectfully. Do something that pushes you slightly beyond comfort. And then watch what happens inside you. Energy changes when you act. Momentum builds. Courage expands. And the anxiety that once felt overwhelming suddenly feels manageable. Because anxiety is loud in imagination, but weak in execution. Stop preparing forever. Stop rehearsing endlessly. Stop perfecting before beginning. Life rewards movement, not mental marathons. You don't think your way into a better life. You behave your way into it. And the moment you choose action over endless analysis, you begin taking back control from fear and handing it back to yourself. Self-trust is the cure for mental chaos. Let that sink in deeply. The reas on your mind feels loud, scattered. Restless is not because life is too complicated. It is because you do not fully trust yourself to handle life. That is the root. That is the core. When you don't trust yourself, every decision feels dangerous. Every mistake feels fatal. Every opinion from others feels like a verdict. You double, check everything. You ask 10 people for advice. You research endlessly. You replay past failures. Why? Because somewhere inside you, there is a quiet voice saying, what if I can't handle it? And that doubt is what creates chaos. But listen to me carefully. You have survived 100% of your worst days so far. Every heartbreak, every embarrassment, every failure, every rejection. You are still here, breathing, growing, learning. So why are you acting like you are fragile? Self-trust is not arrogance. It is not believing you are perfect. It is believing you are capable. Capable of learning. Capable of adapting. Capable of recovering. Capable of fixing what breaks. When you trust yourself, decisions become lighter. Not because they are easy, but because you know that even if you choose wrong, you will adjust. You will pivot. You will grow. Mental chaos begins when you believe one wrong move will destroy everything. Ask yourself honestly, who are you doubting? Life or yourself? Because uncertainty is normal, but panic is optional, and panic comes from lack of self-belief. When someone criticizes you and you crumble for days, it is not the criticism. It is your fragile trust in your own worth. When someone leaves and you question your entire identity, it is not the departure. It is the doubt you carry about your own value. Strengthen that inner foundation. Stop speaking to yourself like you are incompetent. Stop reminding yourself only of your mistakes. Stop defining yourself by your worst moments. If your friend made a mistake, would you call them useless? No. You would encourage them. So why do you treat yourself like an enemy? Self-trust grows through small promises kept. You say you will wake up at 6. Wake up. You say you will exercise. Do it. You say you will stop texting someone who disrespects you. Stop. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, your inner confidence grows. And with confidence, mental noise decreases. Because chaos thrives where there is doubt. Peace lives where there is trust. Trust your ability to learn what you don't know. Trust your resilience when things fall apart. Trust your instincts when something feels wrong. Trust your preparation. Trust your effort. You don't need guarantees from life. You need belief in yourself. And the moment you truly internalize, whatever happens, I can handle it, your thoughts begin to quiet. Decisions become clearer. Fear becomes manageable. Because self-trust does not eliminate problems. It eliminates the fear of facing them. Living better starts with thinking less and doing more with intention. Now don't misunderstand this. This is not about becoming careless. It is about becoming decisive. There is a powerful difference. You have been trained to believe that more thinking equals better living. But look at your life honestly. Has excessive thinking made you happier? Has it made you calmer? Or has it made you tense, hesitant, and constantly tired? You wake up and your mind starts running. What if this goes wrong? What if they misunderstand me? What if I'm not ready? And before the day even begins, you are already exhausted. That is not living. That is surviving inside your head. Living better requires presence. And presence is impossible when your brain is always in the future or trapped in the past. Thinking less does not mean ignoring responsibility. It means eliminating unnecessary mental noise. It means cutting off repetitive thoughts that don't lead to action. It means recognizing when reflection becomes rumination. Ask yourself, is this thought helping me act? Or is it just spinning in circles? Because intentional action changes everything. When you move with intention, you are not reacting emotionally. You are choosing consciously. You are not rushing blindly. You are stepping forward deliberately. Instead of thinking for 3 hours about starting something, start for 10 minutes. Instead of debating whether to improve your health, take a walk today. Instead of analyzing whether to fix a relationship, communicate honestly once. Action creates direction. And here is something powerful. Clarity comes from movement, not from meditation alone. Yes, reflection is important. But reflection without execution becomes self-sabotage. You want confidence. Act intentionally. You want peace. Act intentionally. You want growth. Act intentionally. Stop waiting for the perfect mood. Stop waiting for the perfect time. Stop waiting for motivation to magically appear. Motivation follows action, not the other way around. When you think less and act with purpose, you train your mind to focus on solutions instead of possibilities. You reduce the space where doubt can grow. You silence overanalysis by replacing it with progress. And let me tell you something with intensity. Life rewards motion. Opportunities respond to effort. Energy responds to engagement. When you show up consistently, even imperfectly, you build momentum. And momentum destroys stagnation. You don't need to solve your entire future today. You need to improve your next decision. That's it. One intentional step. One aligned action. One honest conversation. One healthy choice. Living better is not about dramatic transformation overnight. It is about daily discipline. It is about choosing growth over comfort repeatedly. It is about refusing to let your thoughts dominate your behavior. You are not here to spend your life inside your own mind. You are here to experience, to build, to connect, to evolve. Think when necessary. Plan when required. But then move. Execute. Experience. Because a quiet mind is not created by more thinking. It is created by meaningful action, repeated consistently with courage and clarity.